In this episode, you're going to learn how to create monthly passive income through digital real estate using Chrome extensions. Stick around. I've spent the last 5 years learning from the most brilliant entrepreneurs today, and now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build $1 million business. The real question is, what does it take to become a successful entrepreneur and create financial freedom? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share insights from world-class entrepreneurs to grow my online business and create a community of raving fans. My name is Brendan McCauley, and this is Growing Entrepreneur. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very, very exciting episode. It is Saturday, June 8th, around 1 p.m. And guys, I'm privileged to bring Kim Dang on this call with us. Kim, thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Brendan. It's great to be here.
So Kim, I've met you probably a couple months ago, and you were telling me all about these Chrome extensions and a whole bunch of other things. So we'll dive deep into that. But just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? What do you do? What have you been up to recently?
I live in Moreno Valley, and what I do is I teach people how to. Oh, what do I do? You mean like what activities or?
Yeah, sure. So we'll do a little general. What do you do for fun? And you were just saying you do some hiking. So person.
Well, I really want to. Usually, this is what I say. I feel weird if I'm like, I like hiking and I like walking on the beach. Like, it's weird. So I came to America when I was 4 years old. And I had the traditional, like my parents being really, really strict, old school. My dad was a veteran, and he is a veteran, but he used to fight so he's like very military style. Mm-hmm. And he raised my brother and I in a way that he's like, you're going to be doctors or engineers. And he was really strict with that. And being the oldest child, I have a little brother, it didn't jive well. So after I went to college, I just did nothing after college. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to become a doctor. I am not okay with that. I feel like too much responsibility and it's too crazy. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like had a falling out with my parents for like 6 months. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I just got a normal job. But when I got a normal sales job, it was a sales job. Within the first week, I realized that I couldn't be really employed because of the way that I thought. I'm like, wow, is this the rest of my life? Is this the rest of my life? And from that's when I went into the whole journey of figuring out how to make something online work, whether it could be anything. I didn't care.
You're like, just get me out.
And yeah, as long as it gets me some other path. And so I dived into e-commerce. And so long story, like a little bit fast forward. Once I dived into e-commerce, I figured out how to part out cars on my own. And then I figured out how to do it on a massive level. I figured all the licensing for it. I did drop shipping first. I sold solar panels. And then that led me to see other opportunities. Wow. Then I moved by myself to the desert, which if you're from anywhere else besides California looks like a desert to a lot of people, but I moved to the desert in California by myself, and I was like, shit, I'm going to do this. I quit my job after saving up almost everything. And I very clearly remember my dad, like, cause I like did nothing. I moved back home and I was just like, I'm going to save up all my money. And my dad's like, no, you're going to pay rent. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay rent. I'm going to save up all my money because I need to get out of here. And he's like, and I remember he was so mad at me. And I'm like, Dad, do you want me to pay rent and stay here a few more years or something while I save up money? Or do you want me to get out here in like a year? And he's like, good choice. I'll do the year one. And so I had a year. And within the year, I was like, all right, I got everything I need. Every single day I was listening to Smart Passive Income podcast. I was like, Yeah, it felt like I was like, you know, how Eminem, he puts his earphones on. He's like,
Uh-huh.
you only got one shot.
Just totally into it.
That's what it felt like for me. Every single day I was working 12 hours a day at my sales job because I still needed to do really well to get more bonuses to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I moved to the desert, hired people on Craigslist, I had people start parting out, got a warehouse, and then that was 5 years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so time flew by. Within 5 years, I've learned how to let go of being micromanaging my business
Mm-hmm.
and seek a life of adventure. I had a boyfriend at that time. Luckily for me, you know, kind of like that like song "Thank You Next." To me, I'm like, oh, I was so blessed. Thank you, you know,
Uh-huh.
for my ex, um, because he was like, Kim, your business will survive without you. Fucking go on a trip and like quit your job
And just
for at
just
least a few
relax.
weeks. Yeah, he's
Uh-huh.
like, relax, and I was like, I don't know if it will live. And then when I did that, it was a very hard lesson because mentally it fucked me up. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I was just freaking out. But
Uh-huh.
then slowly, when I realized that it didn't burn down when I was gone, I
Mm-hmm.
took like a week off and then 2 weeks off, a
Mm-hmm.
month off, 2 months off, and my business was doing fine. And so that's where I get into the actual process of living my life. Like actually traveling,
Uh-huh.
actually getting into rock climbing and everything like that. But
That is such a cool journey.
yeah, but I'll answer your other questions later, and it'll probably weave into my journey later. But now here I am, and totally unrelated to car parts or e-commerce. I'm teaching people how to make monthly income online with simple softwares,
So
specifically Chrome extensions.
right. So, and just out of curiosity, so why car parts, or was that just that's what it was available, and you said, hey, I can make some money doing this? Where did that come from?
So I was selling every single thing. I was selling, no, literally, I was selling solar panels, you know, knives. I was selling
Uh-huh.
switch knives. I was selling bows. I sold anything that people would
Wow.
let me sell. And all I did was like pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, can I sell your stuff? I saw your things online. Like that's literally it. And then they would be like, who are you? Do you have any licensing? And then
Uh-huh.
for the people who needed paperwork, I was like, no, I don't have any of that. So I got like the bottom rung of the people
Oh,
who said
wow.
yes to me, and they're like, okay, why not? Sure, whatever. And they sent me all the images for it and all the pricing that I would get. I get like a small margin, like 30%.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I did that for 6 months, and then during that journey, I saw that eBay Motors was getting really big, and they were saying, oh, eBay Motors is like gonna be $1 billion industry and blah blah blah. And
Uh-huh.
so at that time, I'm like, oh, really? And then I looked into car parts, and I'm like, really? And then I
Mhm.
started messaging the people, and I messaged a guy who didn't do it full time, but he was working for someone else. So he knew all the systems of it. So I'm
Mhm.
like, can I recruit you to be my partner? And he said, okay, yeah, because I'm a disgruntled employee. And I'm like, okay, great. But
Perfect fit.
he had his own eBay account and everything. And I was like,
Okay.
you have your own thing going on the side here. And he's like, yeah, because I want to break out one day. I'm like, it's gonna come soon. I have the money. He's like, I don't have the money. I'm like, I have the money. I'll get the money. And then he's like, oh, okay. So we kind of, with his knowledge and me saving up like a shit ton of money because I didn't pay rent,
Mhm.
um, we combined and then we took the leap. So it wasn't like a long journey. It was more like, hey, I'm gonna message this person and see what they say, and then they
Uh-huh.
respond. So
I love so
that's how I
entrepreneurship at its finest. Well,
reckless.
so reckless, but you took the chance, right?
Yeah.
So funny enough, the gentleman we just had on this past episode, Mike McAllowitz, he's done 5 books, some bestsellers, and 2 of his books. One's called Clockwork, and in that book, it talks about when you have your own business, literally being able to step away for 4 weeks. It is like the scariest thing, but he's like, you test it out, you get that whole process going. And then once you can finally do that, it's like the most free thing ever. And you just let people run it on automation.
I think I read some of his books.
Did you?
PS5, right? Was it
Yep.
toilet paper entrepreneur or something
Yep.
like that?
Mhm.
Holy shit! You interviewed him? That is so cool. I read it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, toilet paper entrepreneur, the pumpkin plan,
Yeah.
profit first, clockwork is the automation portion of it. And then actually he's got one more that I've got right here.
Clockwork? Oh, it's
Yeah.
automation? I'm going to read that then because
Yeah.
Profit First was a book that's a game changer for a lot of budding entrepreneurs. It's
Mm-hmm.
talked about in the entrepreneur forums I'm involved in. So I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that one was huge. And then the other one is Surge. So funny enough, Surge is the last one I'm reading right now, and it talks about what you just did, where you literally you find this wave. In this case, it was the eBay motor portion. You get in front of it, and then you just run with it because it's going to be hot. So literally everything you're talking about is exactly the stuff that he writes about. So,
That's
but yeah,
hilarious.
it was a great interview. If you get a chance, you definitely check it out. I think you get a
Yeah,
lot
I'll
from
check it out for sure.
Okay, so you're doing all this automotive stuff, and then you're trying to catch that next new wave. So all of a sudden, Chrome extensions, and like the second I heard about that, I was well, like, "What the hell is it?" I don't use Chrome. I'm totally a Safari guy, so I'm like, okay, I need to learn to switch. And then the extensions portion, like I'm starting to hear as an entrepreneur, like you can create mobile applications, and then apps, is like 60% of the market when people go on websites, if not higher. So what are Chrome extensions? Give us like the 30,000 foot view, and then let's just kind of dive into it.
Chrome extensions are little tiny softwares that sits on someone's browser. So if you were to own a Chrome extension, you have desktop real estate. You have their vision when they open up their browser before they go and they search and they enter Google. So to me, it's like you're one on top of the competition in terms of attention because you're sitting right there. And if you build in notifications to your little tiny app, then that's even more attention that you can grab. So to me, Chrome extensions help people save time and money with very simple things they can click install to browser or add to browser. And yeah, simply that's what it is.
Okay.
But, yeah, I have a really good, cool story about my journey into Chrome extensions, but
Please. No, go ahead. Hit us with it. Let's hear it.
So, back in 2008, which is a while ago, very long time ago, I was on a date with this dude, and he told me, and I really very clearly remember that date because I didn't date him a lot after that, simply because I didn't feel the vibe. But during that date, it was at the end of the night, and we were walking right beside the beach. And I remember just walking, and our footsteps it was very dimly lit. We were on the concrete just walking. I could hear the waves of the ocean. And then he, at the end of the night, people run out of things to say. So out of the blue, he's like, Kim, do you know that there's this place that you can go to get software made for like maybe under $100 or $100, $200, and you could have software? And I was like, what, really? He's like, yeah, it's this place called Odesk. And then at that time, he's like, it's very magical because people from across the world are going to make software for you that you own. And then in my head, I was like, what is this? Willy Wonka, what is this? Like, what's going on? And then I told him, I'm like, I don't believe you. That's weird. And then I'm like, people across the world. And you have to think at this time, I'm like working part-time. I'm not, I have no idea of the existence of globalization and like hiring VAs at all. So
this is all totally brand new to you.
Yeah, so totally brand new that I really didn't believe it. So I'm like, oh, whatever. He's like, no. Go and hire your first hire tonight. Like after our date, go and do it. It will change your life, Kim. And I was like, okay. But then I didn't do it. I went home and I just went on with my life, whatever, working part-time here and there, going to school. And then in December 28th, 2018, because I'm still his Facebook friend, I'm still friends with him, his company went public on NASDAQ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Holy moly.
Yeah, and I was his Facebook. I am his Facebook friend, so I saw his journey throughout the way. From 2008, I saw his journey. He was part founder of a company, and then all of a sudden they have a little bit more traction. All of a sudden, more traction, more traction. They got acquired by another company. He still is part owner, and then he went public on NASDAQ. But throughout that time, you know, he's in the way back of my mind. He's like a person I went on a few dates, and then became an interesting friend because he has his own business. So when that happened, it was around the same time that for my warehouse and the surrounding businesses, my landlord raised the rent by 3 times. And for some people, he raised the rent 5 times. And rent is not cheap for a warehouse. So when that happened, people couldn't afford it. They start packing their business out. So I started seeing people in front of me emptying out, and the people replacing them are people in the marijuana industry, people who can afford millions of dollars, and instantly they're $1 million companies. So they can pay that rent. They're like, that's pennies to us. But for the companies that have been around for a long time, they're packing their suitcase. They're going.
Yeah, take it off.
Yeah. So during that time, I'm like, holy shit. Even if I have a business that's profitable, that has employees, that has a location, and I'm the owner, I am still vulnerable. like I could be kicked out. So what I did was I argued for a 3-year lease.
Wow. Okay.
So it locked me in, and I saw that trend going, but they didn't raise my rent yet. It was coming to me. They own like 80 something properties. It was coming. I saw it coming. So I'm like, no, I'm vulnerable. I want argue. And then I called them all the time, and I was like the squeaky wheel that they thought was super annoying, but not annoying enough to just kick me out, because they can do that. They can just be like, Kim, you're freaking annoying. Get out.
It's like, bye, Kim.
Right? But they saw I was friends with one of the managers for a while, and then they took pity on me, and they're like, okay, fine, I'll give you 1 year lease. I'm like, 6. And they're like, no, 2. I'm like, 3. And then they're like, fine, 3. And so at that moment, it was kind of like, you know, like a shotgun went off. Like, I'm like, okay, I have 3 years to figure this out before, you know, rent is so high that I can't afford that. And that's around the same time that happened. That's around the same time that I started interviewing successful digital marketers. And the trend that I saw, like I interviewed Spencer Meekum, I interviewed James Hurst, I interviewed all these people who were dream car winners of ClickFunnels. And they told me, hey, yeah, I have this Chrome extension. I'm like, what the heck? And then I interviewed Marcus Campbell, and he has a Chrome extension. And he's this guy who's done affiliate marketing for 19 years. And on YouTube, he's known as the affiliate marketing dude and stuff like that. So I'm like,
yeah, I've seen the name.
Okay, yeah, I interviewed him, and he's like, yeah, I have a Chrome extension, and all these people have Chrome extensions. So I looked into okay, I know that software is something I should get into. I feel so much regret that I didn't get into it in 2008, because who knows where I would be now if I got into it 2008, right? But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go and hire someone to make it.
I love the attitude.
Yeah, so I just went on. Now Odesk is called Upwork. I went on Upwork, and I just typed in like create Chrome extension, blah 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 blah, and just very simple. Within a week and a half of that happening, I got the extension back. And I'm like, okay, how do I make this work? I Google like how to. And then,
like every starter entrepreneur, you just go to Google and say, how does it happen?
Yeah, I went on Google, YouTube, and it wasn't that hard of a process. So when I did that, I uploaded it. I have it available for sale. I use ClickFunnels. I just put a simple, really ugly landing page up with an order form. And I'm like, okay, now people can pay me. Let's see what happens. I sent an email out. At that time, I only had 25 people on my email list. Wow. Like nothing. I sent out one email list to 25 people. One person bought for $7 a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
For $7.
Yes. And then I remember looking at the strike going through. I'm like, what the heck? that means I can make $7 a month for the rest of my life from one person. Like, that's how crazy I thought I was. Like, in my head, I was like,
No, but that is such a pivotal part. It's like when you get that first sale, you're like, oh my God, this works. It's awesome.
yeah. And I didn't think I didn't think about lifetime value. I didn't think about churn. You know, I didn't think about everything I know now, but that I was like $7 for the rest of my life, one person. All I need to do is collect people. And so I kind of went, after that, I was like just shouting from the rooftops. I'm like, guys, this works. I'm going to do something. I created a Facebook group and I charged people literally $7 to enter the Facebook group to learn about my journey. I even wrote, I'm like, this is just a journey. I don't have anything made, but I want to be able to collect all my information in one place and teach people. And if you want to go on the journey with me, cool. If you don't, that's fine. But here's a screenshot of how much I just made. And it was like literally $7. And then the next screenshot, $200. Next screenshot, several thousand. Next screenshot. One of my screenshot was 50 something thousand.
As in 50?
What?
As in 15 or 50? 15 or 50?
50. And now I made over 70 something thousand. And I even have, I don't have my phone here, but I had my phone and I recorded the first story that I ever made on Instagram about it. I was like, guys, I launched to 25 people and one person bought for $7. I'm really excited. Like I recorded that.
Oh my God.
Circle, and I showed it to my class. Like I just did a group coaching call just recently because I took in with Marcus. We took in like 60 students for the last month and a half, and I was like for the people who don't believe, I'm like, look, I found this. I actually look, and then I showed it to them, and they saw it was literally 30 weeks ago that I made $7 on the software. And by now I have 5 softwares on the market, one that is secret. I don't talk about it. And then my course, and I'm being invited to talk to in a lot of summits. And I'm co-authoring a book that Stephen Larson is going to be in, and all these other authors in my head. That's kind of like mind blowing. Like 30 weeks that happen that I can just dive into the software world, and just walking the path is enough for you to see that this really works. And then through that time, I've taken students and then just kept on asking them, okay, what questions do you have? What questions do you have? What do you need help? Where is it? Like I try to fill in all the gaps that someone goes into my class, and then they'll have all the support that they need. So the revenue generated from selling the system is almost as much as making money from the softwares themselves. So to me, I'm like, wow, I'm delving into this world where influencers are reaching out to me because of what? This Chrome extension thing. I can talk to a lot of people now. Kim Roach, which I didn't even know who she was. She's like, she made an email blast about me the other day, and there were like thousands more in sale in one day without me doing anything. Like I woke up and I saw like several thousand. I'm like, oh, what happened today? I see like 1,000 or 2,000 and I'm like, okay. But if I see more, I'm like, whoa, this is strange. And then I went and I looked, and my friend who had been following her for 10 years, he's like, Kim, this person that I pay for coaching in my affiliate, journey, just made an email blast about you. And, I have no freaking clue. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then she reached out to me. She's like, hey, Kim, I really like your software. Can I get a copy of it? And I'm like, yes, of course. Here you go. And when I gave it to her, she's like, you're the best, Kim. So I'm like, what? Like all these people.
Very impressive.
Just because you give access. Like what thing exists out there where it costs a few $100s? It cost me $380 to make that extension. Few $100 to make. You don't need an audience. You really, truly don't need an audience to monetize. You don't need to know a lick of coding. and it makes you into a magnet, an influencer magnet, because for you to make someone happy, all you have to do is be like, there you go, there's access. And to them, it's like, oh my God, I don't have to spend, my time and money making this and then getting it. And I don't have to, all these things go through their mind. And you're like, wow,
With that same exact tone and everything.
That's how I am.
Well, so 8 months into this, and you go from your first $7 sale to now being a CHROMEBOSS magnet of just awesomeness. That is super impressive. That is really impressive. And by the way, guys, if you've never met Kim before, we've talked before in the past, and we had an hour-long conversation, which pretty much went just like this. She is like the coolest fucking person. So if you ever get a chance just to hang out with her, totally down to earth, as chill and funny as she is now. So just be on top of being super successful, being humble, down to earth, and just super helpful. Because I've seen the testimonials from your program, and people are just like, "Oh my God, blown away! So easy to follow." And don't you have a gentleman on your thing? One of your testimonials. He's older aged, and he's following along, and he's kicking ass with his extensions and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the crazy thing is with Chrome extensions, you don't need to know any coding to really be successful at it. And people come into my program of all types and all ages. Some of them are really young, some of them are older, but I break it down so that it's easy, really, really easy to follow. I just feel like when you look at it, it's not, oh, I'm going to spend like, X amount of money and see if this works. The successful students in my class are more like, this is a way for me to be free from asking permission from any boss, free from, having to, if you're like promoting another software, you own your own software, you're free from the fear of something being ripped away from you, whether it's like, your retirement or your prospect of the steadiness of your job, like the income that you make once that launch happens, and all you do is collect people, subscribers, they pay you monthly. That monthly is not going to be taken away from you. It is yours to own. And some students have actually flipped it. Like they have a set amount of subscribers. It's every single month. They do $1,000 a month, right? And so one of my students, he's flipped it for $7,000. He's like, I can give this up. This is not my baby. He made $7,000 cash, PayPal to him within 30 minutes. I knew a buyer. A buyer was like, hey, Kim, I have money, but I don't want to do any work, but I just want to own something that makes money, that's software. And I'm like, oh, perfect. I have a student. So I just like linked him up. I just messaged my class. I'm like, hey guys, anyone want to sell your own extension that you've been doing? And one guy was like, I'll do it. And then within 30 minutes, done deal. Done deal. So I'm so blessed to be able to help so many people, regardless of age and regardless of whether or not they have an audience and regardless of whether or not they have time. Because during that time of someone making your thing, you're not spending time making your thing. You hire that out to a virtual assistant and then they'll make it. And in some parts of the world, giving them like $200, $300 is a lot of money, and it would fund their life and it would fund their family and their livelihood and everything like that. So it's like, hey, if the world enables this crazy thing to exist and these systems to work together, for you to be free so that you can spend your life the way you want to spend it, so that you can spend more time with your family or spend, or not cringe when you buy sliced fruit or, not, when you're walking on the sidewalk and you see a quarter, you can keep on walking, stuff like that. The
tragedies that most entrepreneurs face on a daily basis.
Or, if you want that car, you can be like, oh, that's fine, down payment. I'm totally fine with the monthly for that, because you have people funding that monthly. You have all these people funding your life. And it's like, I don't know. It's amazing. Anyway.
Well, so, and the funny part is, Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek?
Yes.
So love that book. Great book. Another one I got turned on to was called The 5-Day Weekend. Nick Holter or something like that. I'm going to have it on the site so people can check it out. But, basically in there, it's almost like taking the 4-Hour Workweek, and he really gives you like an in-depth look at how you create all this passive income. And one of those chapters that I just finished reading was talking about designing mobile apps and basically exactly what you're doing. So that the second I read that and I was thinking about yours, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Because you have all these entrepreneurs that don't have the time. They don't have a ton of upfront capital. They don't have a lot of technological, savvy or whatever. And then really at the end of the day, it's okay. Well, if I don't have all those, but I don't need all those, then the last piece they need is a process. And then that's why I'm so excited to get you on here, because you have that process that can literally take them from absolutely zero to thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands on a monthly basis, right?
Yeah, and it's not only people in the US. One of my students, he's successful. He lives in India. And when he launched, within 2 days of his launching, he was making 1,400 something.
What?
Recurring income within 2 days of launching. So that's fucking bizarre for him and his currency. Like India, and he's making like within 2 days that much money. And then I think monthly by now, because he made it yearly reoccurring, so some of it he just got upfront cash, like $200 and something for just a year of them subscribing. So they'll renew in a year. But I mean, he's in India and he can do this. You can be in Vietnam and do this. You could be in a third world country and do this. That's how insane this is. So like, I don't know. I got so happy when he launched and that happened. And I remember very clearly his journey, because he joined and he didn't launch after a month of having the software. He got a software back. I'm like, okay, test it. And he tested it. He's like, it works. And I'm like, okay, launch it. He's like, no, I want to launch with this influencer. He's kind of big. He's going to partner up with me. And I was like, all right, fine. That's what you want. Go ahead. And then he waited and waited and waited. I'm like, what happened to your influencer? Why isn't he launching with you? What's going on? And then he's like, oh, my influencer kind of like dropped it. And I was like, what? Okay, you got to launch it yourself.
Wow.
And I remember just pushing him and then being on the call with him 30 minutes before he launched, which is me going live on my own Facebook, which is his launch. I was like, okay, you're going to launch no matter what today.
It's like, we're launching and you're going to like it.
Yes. If your landing page is ugly and it sucks, who cares? If people can give you money, that's what we're going to do. And he's like, okay, let me link it. So he started linking everything up. He's like, I don't have a funnel. I'm like, I have share funnel for you. Here you go. Take this share funnel. And then he's like, okay. And so he got the share funnel, which is a ClickFunnels thing that lets you have a funnel right away. And so with an ugly landing page, an order form that barely worked, like put together within the last 30 minutes. And I did one Facebook Live on just my personal profile, not like on a group or anything like that. So he started seeing customers come in just from a 10-minute Facebook Live. With a 10-minute Facebook, because I had a meeting right after. I'm like, I'm going to do this real quick. I was determined. I'm like, 10 minutes left, but I'm just going to do this. So I was like, hey guys, so one of my students, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, this is what it does. So I just demoed it. People started signing up for it. And then because of my one live, and obviously his effort of networking afterwards, he started like one live stream, one post from another influencer from another group brought in thousands. And so he's like, Jesus, what the heck? And then I'm like, okay, go time, go. And then he took vacation. Actually, he's like, oh, I can't go time because I need to go on vacation with my fiance. I'm like, oh, okay, go on vacation. During his vacation, he sent me another screenshot. He's like, Kim, I'm in the highest village in Europe right now, and this is what I'm looking at. And he showed me his screenshot, and it was like, renewed $29 a month, renewed.
Wow.
Like $29 in for 1 day renewal. And I'm like, so you're not working, you're on vacation and you're earning this much money right now? And he's like, yep, thanks to you. And I was like, holy shit, that is so awesome.
That's got to be so satisfying, though.
Yeah, it was. I looked down at my phone. I'm like, oh God, this is awesome. Took a screenshot.
That is sick. Yeah, I was going to say, hello, testimonial.
Yeah. So it's just, it makes me so happy. People can enjoy their vacation and still make money, you know?
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's ultimately the end, that's the dream, right? So like we start these quote unquote businesses, and it's really about working smarter instead of working harder. And it's not, okay, well, I'm putting in 80 hours and grinding and hustling so I can do that the same thing next week. It's how do I get that passive income that's going to keep coming and coming and coming.
At the same time, here's what I want to add. I did talk to a guy who works full-time as a software engineer, full-time, and he's able to have Chrome extensions on the side and also a 6-figure blog and also an affiliate business. So like having a full-time job is something that is very important and you should not quit if it can help you leverage debt and leverage stuff, like to buy a house, to do all these things. Because I actually know two people who are full-time engineers. One guy is a dad. He also owns 7 e-commerce businesses, and he owns a real estate investing company on the side to his full-time job. And he makes it all work. And his businesses are no joke. The real estate one is 7-figure business, and one of his e-commerce, like I think he said two of his e-commerce businesses are doing over 6 figures. So he's making all these side pocket money at 7-figure businesses, entities by themselves, while he's doing his full-time engineering job. Because with his job, he's able to leverage that in owning more properties with a job. Banks really like you if you have like a steady job to
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I'm not against, I want to say disclaimer, not everyone will earn not everyone will have the insane results, right? Not everyone, if you put in the work, sure, but I want to do an earning disclaimer, but I also want to say I'm very supportive of people who still have a full-time job and grinding away and then go and pursue these things, because at the end of the day, they are streams of income that will secure your future, your peace of mind. If a medical problem hits real hard, you're not, at the mercy of a lot of loans, a lot of debt, and you can handle what life throws your way. And that's what I want to provide, the stream of income, the ability for you to handle what life throws your way, as well as the ability for you to earn income when you're on vacation. So that too.
Sure. And that's why I was excited to get your course on our site under our list of tools and resources, because people are saying, okay, well, where do I start? It's like, what are my options? What can I do? So I know something like this is going to be super helpful. So just a couple of questions about like the Chrome. So on average, for most of your students, how long does it actually take from the time they say, okay, Kim, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to do the program, to actually having a full Chrome extension? Yes, there's the outliers, but on average, what would you say it typically takes?
On average, it takes around a month and a half. So I would be comfortable saying, hey, you will be able to create monthly recurring in under 90 days. I would be comfortable to saying that. You do have to, so I can't take in everyone if you're not a really good fit. Because you do need to have money to invest in yourself as well. The course is knowledge, but you need to be able to have some amounts, like a few $100s, to pay your developer, because you're not just getting in to consume information. You're getting in to be able to have your own software at the end of the day.
Right.
Under 90 days for sure. Some students are insane. They have their Chrome extensions up and running in 2 days. So literally you can have something up in 2 days, depending on how fast you run.
All right. So we're not talking about your average business of like brick and mortar where, it's okay, maybe you survive the first year and then from there, then, you got to try and last the next 5 years and they have high competition. This is literally that you can get up and running in a 3-month window and start generating revenue, ideally.
Yes, and your overhead costs are so low for the maybe over 7,000 users I have right now. My overhead costs in terms of database storage Last month was $8.11. I even like took a screenshot of it for my students. I'm like, look, guys,
Oh my God.
hey, this is
Wow.
fine. You're
That's
not
like,
thousands for
that is like the ideal business. I love that.
yeah.
So, all right. So you go through and you're saying like you can utilize a VA, you can utilize a person to do this. So, if you're the person that comes into the course, do you have to do all the work? How much of a team do you actually need around you to support you? Is this like you can start by yourself and one developer and you're good? Or like what's the average amount of people you need on a team?
The average starting off is just one developer and that's it. But if you enter my course, I already have a team of dedicated, vetted Chrome extension developers that is managed by my head, by the manager. His name is Usman. So I connect you with Usman right away if you have an idea. So when you get in, here is the choose your own adventure pathways. There's 3 paths that I've noticed students go through.
Okay.
One is that they have no idea what to do. And so they can't even talk to Usman because they have no clue. So with that one, I give you 2 ways. You either get one of my white label extensions, which I provide for you. I give for you all the rights, everything for it, because I want you to monetize from Chrome extensions. Might as well give you one. And then 2, you are you don't have an idea and we give you an idea. So I know that we have a whole list of ideas that we dump in because a lot of people have ideas, but that are really, really good. They just don't have time to pursue it. So whenever someone gives me an idea, I'll dump that in. I make it so that the homework for the students is to dump ideas in if they don't have an idea. They do market research, and market research is very, very solid. It sounds like a vague, phrase, but it's super solid because if you know that a certain phrase like convert Word to PDF is searched 12 million times a month by Google, do you think that maybe there's a chance for you to monetize somewhere in there, Or like a phrase that I took, which is what is it? Post to Instagram from PC. That freaking long ass phrase is searched 6,600 times a month. So
Wow.
I'm like, okay, if it's searched that much a month and it's so specific, can I create a tool that will cater to that? And yeah, I did. As an experiment, I'm like, okay, let's see how fast I can get this done. I got it done in 3 days for $50 for something that is searched for 6,000 times on Google a month. So if $50 in means that you can have a tool to cater to that audience, that is the idea process, right? One of the market research process. So if you don't have an idea, we give you one, okay? Because we know that people are searching for it. It's solid. Or I give you a Chrome extension. If you do have an idea, I connect you with Usman right away, and he gives you a quote right away. At the same time, the pre-recorded modules show you the step-by-step, the ability to negotiate with a developer, to go on Upwork, to hire from Upwork, to get quotes from Upwork. So you're getting like second and third opinions still. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, my team is here. They're ready to go. They will give you super reasonable prices. I know, because I don't want to get ripped off. I don't want to rip you guys off. I know that pathway, the journey, because I've traveled it so many times, and I launch extensions myself. I live and I breathe it, and I walk that path over and over again. So for me to map out that path for my students is easy. And then also when you're ready to launch, then I have a list of app launch heroes, I call them, which is me actively going out there, talking to people like you, talking to people who have some kind of audience, and saying, hey, I have students in my course making cool ass software. Can they be on your show? And a lot of them are like, yeah, if they give me access to it and I test it and it's good, yeah, sure, why not? And so some of my students have launched in these App Launch Hero influencer shows, and it makes a big difference because someone that you know is saying I can help versus like a complete stranger. Like they're saying, I can help, let me help you. I'll feature you in my blog. I'll feature you in my podcast. I'll feature you in my group. And so it's like, you're entering into this journey where you're really supported throughout the entire way of that process, whether you have an idea or you don't have an idea. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And it's so the nicest thing, especially that I've just learned over the course of creating courses and helping others to create courses. So it's really about that hand-holding feature. So, literally the best courses that you see, it's okay. Step 1, we do this. Step 2, we do this. Step 3, we do this, all the way down until you're done. And it's really when you have that kind of a supportive environment and you have a group and there's a ton of resources, it makes all the difference in a world. And then you can have a person that's super timid or, maybe they're super confident or they're just not familiar with the space of a Chrome extension where they're like, okay, I know Kim has had plenty of people. They've all gone through this. They've all been successful. I know I can do this. And that I think that's the total game changer and why you can go from $7 a month to your $70,000 a month or, whatever that winds up looking like. So is a Chrome extension that anyone can do? Is there any demographic that is going to, succeed more than another? Or is it, if you just want to take this on, go for it and we'll show you how and we'll help you out?
So a Chrome, in order to get into the mini software industry, which is what I call it, mini, tiny, simple software, you need to be a certain type of person. You can't be anyone. And I highly encourage not everyone to go in. You have to be someone who is not afraid to take action. I know this sounds kind of like cliche-ish, but this is true. People coming in need to have these features, okay? You need to be someone who's not afraid to take action. You need to be someone who doesn't complain. When you go and do something, you're not like, oh, this sucks. Like, oh my God, I need to do this work. No, you can't be that type of person. You need to be someone who is willing to invest in themselves. Someone who sees, it might sound weird, but I honestly, truly believe all of this. And it's like, if someone comes to me and they're like, oh, Kim, I feel like, I spent this much money and there's no results. I'm like, wait, do you do the homework? No. Did you show up to a coaching session? No. So you can't be someone who feels like they're throwing money somewhere and then it'll just work for you. Right. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. By that, I mean time. I mean, like a couple $100 to a developer. What is it worth for you to get time and freedom back into your life? What is that worth? And if you're someone who's like, that's worth everything, then that's who I want to be coming in. Because when you're not afraid to invest in yourself, you're not afraid you don't complain about challenges, and you're able to come into it all in. That's the type of people I want. And it doesn't matter who you are in terms of profession, what you already do, because Chrome extensions apply saving time and money applies to every single niche out there, every single one. Think of course creators, right? Like if a course creator says, get my app, it's in my app, that will put them beyond above people who are like, oh, go to www.blah.com. And by the way, remember that, please, and bookmark that and go and search through your email for that exact phrase, because that's my program. That's what it's called. All these things, you set yourself apart. If a real estate person says, oh, get my calculator or get my app, then they download their real estate calculator, then all of a sudden you have that attention from your audience. And so many people from all walks of life come in, but no matter how you slice it, no matter how you see it, you will win if you're the type of person who's willing to invest in yourself and willing to put in the work. So so I hope that answers your question. All walks of life can enter, but you have to be a certain type of people to actually.
100%. So, and Rachel Leslie, right? So I think you had even done an interview with her previously.
Yeah, she's cool. I like Rachel.
Yeah, so Rachel's totally chill. And ironically enough, so she focuses a lot on Daily Commissions Club. That's her thing. So I actually just started working with her. I had a one-on-one coaching session, and I got into the back end. And a common trend that I've noticed on every program, every solid course that's out there that really produces results, 9 times out of 10, the first module is all about mindset. So it's when you are going to enter this game, if your head's not right, the rest of it doesn't matter. So, if your body's there, but your brain isn't, and you just got all these negative thoughts and whatever, it makes all the difference in the world. So that's the same thing with losing weight, with being in a good relationship, with, having a good relationship with money, whatever that is. And especially for creating Chrome extensions, it might not be a ton of work as much as they say something else, but if you're not with it mentally, or you're checking out, or you're not showing up, completely makes sense. And you have to be willing to put in whatever it takes to get it done.
Yes. Yeah. When your mind is in the right place, all the objections physically, emotionally, it just melts away. And here's a story that the reason why I'm successful now is not because I just do it and it just gets done successfully. I've struggled with doing something online for a while because, I was exposed to it in 2008. So one of my friends has his own software. So I was like, oh, maybe I should do it. And I tried it different ways, but my mind was not in the right place every single time. So one time I actually made $7,000 from a software thing that I teamed up with someone to. He already had it. I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, hey, you can sell this. What are you doing with this? Can I get it? Can I sell it? And he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm here. And I'm like, are you in California? And he's like, yeah, let's meet up. So I met up with him at Starbucks. I just randomly met up with a guy that I messaged on YouTube.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm not doing anything with this, but I don't need the money. So if you want to pursue it, go ahead. And I thought at that time that all I needed was to put up a web page and people will come, right? Big mistake. When my mind changed to, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 in this thing and see if it works. Like when my mind changed from looking at it that way and, it doesn't work. Oh man, I suck. Okay, I give up, which is what happened at first. I tried ClickFunnels even. It took me forever to do one funnel, like 2 days. And then I didn't see any money from it. So I'm like, ClickFunnels suck. And then so I just quit. I quit for a while. I heard about ClickFunnels back in 2017 or something like that, like years ago. And I just did it and I quit because it sucks. But when it was successful for me was when I came back and I'm like, this is not about another stream of income, right? It's not about throwing some money this way and seeing if it works. It's about securing my future financially. It's about changing my energy level from a 4 to an 8 every day. It's about that happiness, So when I think about that, I'm like, what is that worth? That is worth everything. That isn't worth 2 days of effort, seeing nothing, and then quitting. That's insane, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That isn't worth throwing money at a course and then thinking that it'll change your life and not doing the work and then saying the course sucks. It's not anything wrong with me. I'm doing everything right. Like, that's insane. So when my mind was like, oh, okay, this should involve all of me, every single fiber of my being to make this successful. Because if I don't play at that level, then, what am I even doing this for? It's like, if you try 1,000,000 times at things halfway, why are you even doing that? It's like running on a hamster wheel, half the wheel, and then quitting, jumping off, and then coming back in, running. And I'm like, that's a pointless waste of time, So
it's like buying a course and then it turns into shelf development. It's like, you got it, you literally take it, you stick it on the side. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get to that. And then you got this high because you just bought something that was like a high ticket item and you feel really good about it. And then you get 2 weeks into the program, you're like, crap, I haven't touched this thing in 3 months. I should probably start doing it.
Yeah, it should. I mean, I do that too. I was guilty of that for a long time. And now I'm like, someone tells me about a course or tells me about something. I'm like, nope, don't have time for that. I am 100% devoted into this path until this path is very, very solid. Then I can take my attention away. But that's how I approach it now. People are like, well, why don't you get my course? I'm like, because I'm very devoted to my students right now. I want complete success for them, and I can't like look another way right now. I have to be all in this path.
Yeah, it's that shiny object syndrome. It's like most entrepreneurs, the second they see like the newest, greatest thing, they're like, oh, I got to leverage that. Oh, I got to leverage that. And then before you know it, their time is like 20% here, 32% here, 18% here, and then nothing winds up getting done, right? So, so here's my personal recommendation, just in my opinion. If you guys are looking to do something, and then I want to talk about your extensions real quick so they know really like what that includes. Sure. If you're already focused on something hardcore, get that thing done. And then feel successful with that, get a process, get a system that works. And then if you want to take CHROMEBOSS or, you have like an additional, like let's just say your girlfriend or something like that, and they can help you out with this, have them get into this to get into Kim's course and then make that their sole focus. But if you're going to do this, don't half-ass this and then buy 3 other programs and then try and launch a WordPress blog and then try and launch a podcast and then try and do a Chrome extension and all the rest of this shit. Pick one thing, because if you do Kim's class, that's going to make all the difference in the world. And then it's a relatively small time frame, right? So like 90 days max, guys are doing this in 2 days, so you can knock all these things out. So all right, you have 4 extensions right now, right off the bat, right? So I believe you have Group Convert, Quickly Convert, Ad Extractor, and CHROMEBOSS or CHROMEBOSS Masterclass. So give us the rundown. What is that, and what does it all look like?
Okay. Group Convert helps grab the answers that you get. If someone comes into your Facebook group, you can ask 3 questions. It'll let you copy and paste those answers very quickly to a Google Sheet. Why is this powerful? This is powerful because the minute someone enters your Facebook group, they now can go into your nurture sequence, your email sequence, so you can talk to them right away. And as a testimony to that software, my group converters who come in start monetizing their Facebook group quickly versus, waiting around depending on posts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You're in their inbox the first day they come in. And one of my group converters, he sells a $9.97 course on LinkedIn, about LinkedIn, how to grow LinkedIn and stuff. Mm-hmm. He said that because he implemented my software, he sells 4 more copies a day than he usually does. That is, wow. I made him $4 more $1,000 a day extra. And he's like, Kim, this is very powerful stuff. So
is that a membership-based plugin?
Yes, it is membership-based, but I do have for a limited time. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it there, but there is a one-time cost that you can pay to get out of the monthly if you hate monthly expense.
Okay. Got it.
And it's very, very affordable to even start because you can get started for free. I have a 14-day free trial. Quick Link Convert is something I use every day for myself, and I created it kind of to solve my own problem, right? So Quick Link Convert will pull all the links from a Google Sheet. Mm-hmm. If you store like 1 million links into your Google Sheet, it'll make it searchable into your little Chrome extension
That's
tab.
Very cool.
Yeah, I use that every single day because people are like, Kim, where's the link to this? Where's the link to that? I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't you? But then it comes back to the same thing, like Chrome extensions, right? If you have the Chrome extension there, they'll get the link to everything. Mm-hmm. Another one is my own extension, which helps to solve that problem. And my own extension is your own Chrome extension, your own, that you can give a link to other people, and it will be a link to the Chrome Web Store. They'll click Add to Chrome, and then if they type in your name, then all your links will show up. And so it's your Chrome extension to your student. This dude named Peter Peru uses it. Doug Botten uses it, and I don't know if you know them. Okay, you know Doug. Everyone knows Doug.
Everyone knows Doug.
I don't know how he grew up so hard, but I was like, what? And so he gave me a testimonial for that, because now instead of him copying and pasting 1 billion links to his audience, he's just like, get my app. And so his app has his face, has a search bar that's customizable to him. Okay. And then all these links. And yeah, that's another extension I have that you don't know about. But since we spoke, I launch Chrome extensions all the time. So the CHROMEBOSS Masterclass is not the Chrome extension. It's my course, and it's to help entrepreneurs find another stream of income through simple softwares that they own without any audience and without learning any coding. And I could say the time frame to be successful is usually around 2 months.
Okay.
But to be safe, I would say in under 90 days. You know, it's crazy because when you really think about it with course creators, they're charging you what, like, I don't know, anywhere from 400, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Let's say max like $3,000 for something, right? They're charging you $3,000 for you to be able to change your entire life and maybe make like $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year. Some of my students, one student, he made $55,000 in 3 months. So
Wow.
it's like, if you're getting this knowledge and then you learn how to fish, you fish for the rest of your life for a measly couple $1,000s. It's like, that's insane. Like, that's what I don't know. I find that incredibly insane. That's why I invest in masterminds and things like that. I'm going to one next weekend. Not next weekend, next Monday.
Okay.
And it's like $3,000 to be able to be around a very small group of people to learn how they operate on like how they create and craft $10,000 to $20,000 packages. And I have yet to do that. That's in my future, but I want to be among them to learn. If it was only $3,000 to get that backseat versus Googling forever, YouTubing forever, then I'm going to invest in myself. And that's why I feel so strongly in others investing in themselves, getting into my course. I'm like, yes, this is something you should do. Yes.
Just do it. Stop bitching and complaining. Pay the money. And when you start, not only making what you paid, but at tenfold, then you can come over, give Kim a big hug and say, Kim, you rock. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I get a screenshot. Like, I get some people messaging me saying, thanks, Kim, today I made this. And then I wake up to that all the time, not because of just my students, but because of my users, individual users of all my apps. They message me. They're like, Kim, this app's so useful. Thanks.
That's so
and
cool.
I'm like, you stalk me down to my Facebook page. All right.
All right. So guys, you can see, guys and girls, you can see there's a ton of value that you can really get out of this. I'd say if you listen to this once, listen to it a couple times, just really understand the power of when you can leverage software, when you can do this with somebody that understands, that has not only, walked the path, but proven that it's a successful path. It makes all the sense in the world. So, if I'd say anything, start off with one of her Chrome extensions, see how it works, find the value in it. If you find it valuable, understand there's a system, there's a process. She has tools. Get in there, invest in yourself. Don't overwork yourself. Don't let it get in your head, one piece at a time. And I can't wait to share with you some of the Chrome extensions I'll be coming out when I'm working with Kim. So, Kim, for people that want to connect with you, we're going to make sure we put all the links in the bottom of this. But as far as Facebook and stuff goes, can you give us some handles or some, at symbols or whatever? Where can they get you?
At the Kim Possible Dang. If you can find me on Facebook and follow me there. It's the Kim Possible Dang. It's the Kim Possible Dang, kind of everywhere. The Kim Possible Dang.
Okay. Perfect.
And yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far. It's only been 30 weeks. So I feel like, wow, I have a long way to learn and grow, and it's going to be awesome. And I love meeting people like you and I love meeting people too. So I love it.
Beautiful. Well, guys, we can't be more honored to have Kim on with us. So, Kim, thank you again so much. You are a complete rock star.
Brendan, thank you so much for having me, and have an awesome day.
You too. Talk to you then. Bye.
All right.
Hey, it's Brendan, and thank you so much for listening to the Growing Entrepreneur Podcast. Look, if you enjoyed this episode and want more content just like this, do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button. That way I can create consistent content on a daily basis focused on what's important to you. Also, leave a comment. I'll make sure to get back to it as soon as possible. I will see you on the next episode.